Fantasy Edge with Richard Savill and Dennis Sosic.
Hello and welcome to Fantasy Edge, the Fantasy Edge. I am Richard Savill, FantasySixPack.net. Joining me shortly, Dennis Sosic, also of FantasySixPack.net. Well, we're testing out a brand new thing here to go on YouTube, and I don't know why people like to watch YouTube, not listen to YouTube, but we're gonna go on there. You know, pressures of the job. But we've got 2 games that are going on Monday night. It's a doubleheader Monday night. The Bills are playing the Titans, and a little bit later on. Actually, the other game is starting quite soon. It's the Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles. So that'll be good. But today, I'm happy to say that we've got our waiver rankings from the experts. Last week, I don't know what happened. Week 1, I guess it took a while for people to wake up, but we're going to be talking about that in the news and any other things that sparked our attention this week. So, with that in mind, I would like to bring in Dennis Sosic, and here he is right now. Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Richard.
How you doing? There's one thing I forgot to mention is that we have Davis Peng is here this week with Peng's Picks. So, some point during the program, we shall visit and see what he has to say with his picks, what he's talking about. So we're into week 3. The season is well underway. We finally got our big injury of the year so far. Major quarterback that was trying to break out. Trey Lance out for the season. I hope you don't have him, Dennis.
I took a shot at him in one of my leagues, but I picked Cousins in my backup just in case, so that'll work out for me. And I mean, Lance was a wild card going into the season, so we don't know what he was going to do. And he cast slow start last week, and then unfortunately, he got injured, and Jimmy G is back. 49ers are getting a little smart now for hanging out to Jimmy G. And
he looked good too against the Seahawks.
Yeah, he did.
So
yeah, he runs that offense very well. I mean, he's not a game changer, but he's game manager, so he keeps within the game usually.
Yeah, good player. They're lucky they didn't trade him, or I don't know, Mullen, or who is it? I don't know. Mullen, I guess, the next guy. But
I don't know who it is anymore.
No, I don't know who it is anymore. But actually, they've always had kind of good backups for such occasions. But Jimmy G, yeah, he'll do. He'll do quite well. But we'll talk about some quarterbacks to pick up. Quite a shocker. We'll talk a little bit about the games on Sunday, but we won't go on it. I know everyone is eager to get into these waiver rankings, and we will get into that shortly. But Mike Evans will not play next week because he got into it with Marshawn Lattimore. So
yeah, they have a long history.
Yes,
those two. Yeah, he's protecting Brady, so I guess he was at least in his mind. But anything Lattimore would do, I think, would set him off. So it doesn't really matter what Lattimore did. But he was, Evans was protecting Brady, and he kind of took a nice shot at him. And I'm not sure, did Lattimore get suspended as well? Do you know?
No, he did not. I asked our resident injury guy, Mr. LaPlante, and he said no. Evans is the only one. There are, I will say, fines being handed out to other players, but Evans is the only one getting the game suspension.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't see anything come through, but I thought maybe it came across late. I didn't get a chance to see it, but yeah, I mean, his was kind of a cheap shot. So I mean, I could see them doing something to him, which was understandable.
Yeah. And, I'm just looking, this is not on our news sheet, but I will mention that Michael Pittman making good progress, and he could play in week 3, so.
I hope so. I needed him.
Yeah, I went without him too, but the way the Colts played this weekend,
oh yeah, what was that about?
I'm not full of confidence with them, but I don't know, maybe the Jaguars are getting better, they certainly look.
Sure. I don't know about that good. I don't know, it was probably probably a combination of the Colts playing like crap, Jaguars playing with some enthusiasm, and they kicked their butt. I mean, shutting them out. I mean, holy crap! I never thought that would happen. Taylor didn't. I mean, he had some good runs, but in the beginning he wasn't doing crap either. So it was a big Fed zero for a lot of Colts players.
Yeah. J.K. Dobbins, week to week. When is Dobbins going to get on the field full time? I mean, it's going to be. I mean, I'm not seeing much from the other backs like Hill, Davis, and Drake. They're not really. I don't think we're picking any of those guys. I mean, I can't trust any of the running backs. Not. I mean, we say that about every team, but usually one guy can, sort of poke his nose ahead. And we thought that was gonna be Kenyon Drake, but I don't know. This past weekend, I haven't looked at the stats of the players. I should get that up, but to see how their running backs did, because I mean it was a big scoring, bonanza fantasy fest with with Miami there. So I'm just going to take a look. I'm just going to take a quick look at the stats and see how the running backs did. Always do these things on the fly, folks. That's what we do.
It's live. It's live. So
it's live. That's right. That's right.
Right. I doubt they did much.
Yeah. And also, with Pittman out, a lot of people were saying Nyheim Hines. Well, no, he didn't do anything. Paris Campbell I picked up and got a nice goose egg.
Right.
Yeah, that was terrible. But the Colts got a goose egg period, so it didn't matter. I mean, if the Colts were scoring and he got nothing, then okay. But since the whole team was crap, just don't know what to say about it.
That's embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, what is Frank Reich doing over there? He's supposed to be some kind of offensive genius, but he is not looking like a genius anymore. He's becoming an issue, and obviously it wasn't Wentz in Indianapolis that was causing the problems in offense. Maybe it was right the whole time. I mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Matt Ryan didn't look like any kind of NFL quarterback yesterday. Supposed to be a veteran. He didn't do crap.
Yeah. Let's see. Justice Hill, 2 carries, 4 yards. Kenyon Drake, 11 carries, 31 yards. In a game like this, but I mean, it was passing. You were seeing Bateman catching. You were seeing Andrews catching. You were seeing, and that, of course, that big run by Lamar. So, there was just no room. There's no room for running backs on the Baltimore Ravens. It's either Lamar.
They're going away from the running game.
Yeah, it's either it's Bateman or even this guy Duvernay. He's I think he's worth picking up. Well, we'll talk about that when we get into it. What other injuries have we got to talk about here, Dennis?
Yeah, Jeudy.
Oh yeah,
for his shoulder. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with another offense that looked like didn't play well either. And the Denver Broncos. I mean, what's going on there with Wilson there? They thought that offense would pick up, especially with Jeudy and Courtland Sutton and wide out. I mean, Sutton looked great, but Jeudy got hurt, and then the offense went downhill. I mean, that Nathaniel Hackett, he's becoming a hack as a game manager and as a play caller. He's doing some stupid ass crap out there. I don't know what he's doing. And Wilson doesn't look like he's there anymore. I don't know if it's just slipping or he's just trying to get used to the team or a combination thereof. But either way, I mean, a lot of people counted on that team for offensive production. For their fantasy team, and they've been a big letdown.
But of course, as we say about September, we don't know. We'll see we'll see in a couple of weeks of where things stand. But right now, you're not dropping anybody.
No.
But you're right about Courtland Sutton. He was a bright spot there. Caught a touchdown. Caught 2, didn't he?
No.
Just the one.
Over 100 yards.
Over 100 yards. Yeah, it doesn't seem like, but, from what I saw, of course, I watch on Red Zone, so I only see it, partially. And also, I didn't watch I didn't watch right until the end, so I missed some of it. But what was the final score? I don't have it, but I'll get it right now. Just because we got to have these things. Because I think, what do they do? Just get on here and yes, we do.
No, they still won. I mean, they still got the W.
They still got
16-9.
16-9. Okay, right.
Yeah, it was. But still, it was. It's not what you signed up for when you drafted those players. I mean, Javonte Gordon's still playing carries, and Russell's not playing well. So I mean, mean, it's
especially against the Texans, who are kind of
right.
we're not expecting much out of.
Exactly. Right.
And
defense is not.
Yeah, but at least they're 1-1. They got a win on the board. Jacksonville, I'd say I think Jacksonville's showing a lot more promise. I mean, if they can shut down I don't know who they're playing next week, but I can tell you who they're playing next week.
The Chargers.
Chargers.
Yeah, that could be ugly.
Yeah, Chargers will be able to take them.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, finally, Dalton Shultz. The Cowboys continue to get injuries, and this is kind of an annoying one because, and the Cowboys won, which is kind of big.
Yeah.
With Cooper Rush, everyone was kind of worried about him. Played all right.
Yeah, he played well. So he did well. I mean, Tony Pollard stepped up. Noah Brown, we'll probably talk about later. Got a little chemistry there with Rush, so they look good. I mean, Schultz is going to he's kind of a big injury. Hopefully he's okay, but I think it's similar to what Elliott had in the PCL. I'm not sure how severe it is, but he's going to try to play through it, I guess, at least try and see what he can do. But, I mean, he's a big target out there for Rush, and hopefully when Prescott gets back, he's somewhat healthy enough to contribute.
Right. Okay. Well, I think what we'll do is that we should get into these quarterbacks that you're going to pick up. And here's the list this is from the Fantasy Pros Week 3 waiver ranks. I got them hot off the press. So, would you believe they've got Jared Goff, I guess Tua Tagovailoa, it must be, because if they're over 50% owned, they don't put him on there.
Yeah, that's the cutoff, right?
So Tua is not on there, but I still think Tua is probably available in a lot of leagues. But anyway, Jared Goff number 1. Would you put Jared Goff number 1? That Lions look good. The Lions are getting competitive. They're saying we're not going to take this anymore, and man, they're not.
No, I mean he's been. I mean he has the volume of passes. I mean he threw for 4 touchdowns, on Sunday, through 2 the first week. I mean you got Amon St. Brown who's stepped up and has been a stud receiver for him, and they scored 71 points so far this season. It's tied with the Chiefs for the league lead. So I mean they're scoring. I mean they're playing Cousins and Vikings this week, so that's going to be a shootout. I wouldn't mind picking up Goff if you don't have Prescott or worried about Matt Ryan or something. Picking up Goff is not a bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. Especially like right now, I'm looking to replace. I've seen 2 games of. I really had hopes for Justin Fields, but 70 yards is just not there, man. That's just not doing it. That's Tebow territory. That is
Tebow territory. Wow,
it is.
I know it's embarrassing. I mean, you watch that game last night where they were. They weren't even letting him throw the ball. I mean, when he had I think he has 28 pass attempts so far in over 2 games. I mean, you gotta let him throw the ball. I mean, they're just killing that offense. They're not giving him any chances. The offensive line is, playing okay, but you're not gonna try to throw the ball. They're not gonna, Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet ain't gonna be nothing. Fields ain't not gonna be someone you want to play until they open up the offense.
Yeah, and quarterbacks are quite important right now. With Prescott out and now with Lance out, you gotta. So Goff being number 1. You know what? I was impressed with Marcus Mariota too. Losing effort, I think, and
they lost.
31-27. But it was, he's competitive and he's playing. He's playing well. I want to see his rushing stats. That's kind of what interests me.
And he only had 16.
He only said 16. Well, he had 72 the week 4.
Right.
So
yeah, he had some.
Good.
He had some pretty horrendous plays toward the end of that game, but he missed a couple of players, so he had a chance to pull that one out of the what. I mean, but they played 2 tough defenses, back to back, playing against the Bucs and then the Rams. I'm sorry, the Saints and then the Rams. So I mean, this week they're playing against Seattle, so they should be a lot better. But if he doesn't start winning, I mean, we may see Mariota sitting on the bench. We may see Ritter start playing, but
yeah,
right now, I mean, he's still playing well enough, I guess, to to succeed. But I mean, London was playing out of his mind.
That's what actually saved Mariota. Actually, is 86 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So That was pretty good, and he got 12 targets from Mariota. So there's obviously some chemistry going on there, and I'm not so sure. You might think that Mariota's on a short leash, but I don't know if there's chemistry going on with Drake London, who is a guy that the Falcons want to get going. Yeah.
They need to get Kyle Pitts going. That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
Why don't get him going? I don't understand. I mean, I think he's like in the ranked 15th among tight end targets through 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, I know Arthur Smith is kind of stubborn, but I mean, you gotta give Kyle Pitts the ball. Give him an opportunity to do something.
Yeah.
Not even giving him a chance of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's number 2 on the list. We got Ryan Tannehill who's playing today, so we'll talk about him. Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't get that. Daniel Jones, well, no. Jimmy Garoppolo,
Yeah.
yes. I think he's a guy you can pick up if you want to just go 1-to-1. That is, I don't know, but I mean, when it comes to quarterbacks, you really have to. It's kind of your waiver shopping has to be very, very careful because there's other people with, that are just as good, and you might, even with Tua, like Tua had this big game, you don't know what's coming down the line with him, but he sure looked good, man. I mean, remember we were saying before, can he, if he plays like he played against the Ravens, he'll certainly be able to support 2 1,000-yard receivers. I mean, both Waddle and Hill did great.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. I mean, he captured that. I think he won over his teammates with that performance. I mean, he looked great. I would have come back with them. And Tyreek and Waddle, they looked, unstoppable out there. And Ravens defense looked, I mean, they were out a lot of defensive backs, but still, it looked like, they were playing, they're playing pitch and catch out there with those guys. So it's good to see too. I've always, kind of was negative toward Tua, but I think he kind of won me over with that game. I think he did with, obviously, Miami teammates and hopefully some fantasy managers as well.
Yeah, I guess you could call it his breakout game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. You know who's, I was looking at the list. Who's surprisingly not on this list?
Who?
If you had to guess.
Let me think. Trevor Lawrence?
No, Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco?
You're going to laugh. Yeah. Throwing over 300 yards in consecutive weeks. I mean, he had that crazy win against my freaking Browns yesterday when the Browns just coughed up a W, which we won't get into because I don't want to start drinking again. But
that's another W. They nearly coughed up a W against the Panthers.
I know they're just looking for ways to lose games. I mean, they're just strictly embarrassing. I don't know what their defense was doing, but and their special teams as well. But that's another story for another day. I could talk about that for the next hour, but we won't. But yeah, Flack. I mean,
so you're impressed with Flack? Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. So you're impressed with him?
I mean, he's getting the job done. I mean, he has, and he has the weapons on the outside. He has 2 good running backs, and now I just saw he got announced he's going to start this week against the Bengals. So I throw him out there if you need someone to stream. If you're sick of Ryan, if you couldn't get Jimmy G and you lost Lance, I mean, to get Flacco as a temporary fill-in, I wouldn't balk at that too much.
Oh, before we start talking about Goff, like Goff is the number 1 of the experts, I wanted to talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown, and do you think Amon-Ra St. Brown is leveling up?
Yeah, I think so. I actually was very negative about St. Brown coming into the season because I thought he got more of his production at the end of the year because, Swift and Hawkinson both were down, so they had to give him the ball. He's only an option on the field, but he's proven me 100% wrong. I mean, he's looked like almost unstoppable out there, and Goff keeps feeding the ball. And he's producing. I mean, you can't deny the production. So I was totally wrong on that.
I was just sort of expecting WR2. Kind of like he doesn't look like a WR2. He looks like a WR1.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like a top 12 receiver. Looks like a third. Easily. Yeah.
I should have ranked him higher in my draft rankings. He's a presence on the field, and that's one thing I know. You can't see. I mean, maybe I should have watched some of the Detroit games like in the off season a little bit more, and I probably would have seen that. But you know what it is. It's hard to watch old news, right? I mean, it's but if you're serious about fantasy football, you got to do these things. Which is why I watched all the preseason games. But I felt like last year I'd seen enough of him to sort of think, okay, yeah, he's decent. He's definitely a guy you want in your fantasy draft. He's a guy to target, but not I didn't kind of expect him to be like elite looking.
Right.
So
he has been.
Yeah.
He's proven me wrong. I never thought he would be, but I thought he would be. Plus, they added more weapons, and they still got Jameson Williams is going to be coming back sometime this season as well. So you add another weapon to the offense. I mean, and Goff's going to have those weapons out there. He doesn't make great decisions, but fantasy wise, I mean, he produces. So
yeah. He's got wheels too. I saw him running a bit there. He's
a little bit, yeah.
A little bit of running there, that Goff. He's. I don't know. He comes out of the Rams system, so he can't be all bad. But good coach. I got to give some kudos to the coach here. Is it Pedersen is his name? No.
The Lions coach?
Yeah,
Campbell.
Campbell. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done well in that team, and he's got that team energized and playing together. So you got to give him credit.
That's 2 competitive games in a row. I mean, they might make some noise. We'll see. Let's get on to running backs. The number 1 running back on the list, Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, I think it's more or less a no-brainer to have him as number 1. I mean, he was the number 1 running back in that game. He did well over Chase Edmonds. I mean, he played 55% of the snaps, saw the goal line snaps. I mean, and he has a relationship with Mike McDaniel, the current coach. When they were together in San Francisco. I mean, if he's healthy, you figured he was going to get that nod, but we didn't know about his health. Right now, he's healthy, but how long that lasts, we'll see. But right now, you got to take a chance on him. He's probably ready. I'm surprised he's not taking in more leagues, but a lot of that's probably because of the fear of his health.
Mm-hmm.
But I have him in some of my leagues. You got to take a chance, stash him on your bench, and see what he can do for you.
Yeah, but you have to sort of remember too that the game was, the game was an air show, but I mean, he did Chase Edmonds, people can't be happy about that.
No, I know. I put him as a sleeper this year, and he hasn't done anything for it, so I'm kind of worried about that. Yeah, I have him in a lot of leagues thinking he would do well in that offense, but he's not looking so good right now.
Of course, as I'm looking here, I see that big, luscious 469 yards and 6 TDs by to his breakout game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyways, Raheem Mostert, number 1. Brian Robinson, number 2. I think that's he's kind of a holder. We're still kind of waiting. Guy got shot. Darrell Williams, number 3.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with James Conner's ankle injury. I mean, they said he's okay, but he came out of that game and Williams saw goal line snaps, and I think he's trusting more in pass protection than Benjamin is. I think he's he's an option. I mean, like I said, they say Conner's okay, but Conner has an injury history, so you never know what's going to happen with him. And Williams, we know with him in Kansas City last season, he succeeded. He played well, and so he has the pedigree to do well in any offense.
Now, I would have thought an Emo was the guy, Eno, pardon me, not Emo.
Or Emo too, whatever floats your boat, I guess, right? Yeah, I mean, he did well. I mean, he's more of a, he's listed as number 2 on the depth chart, but I don't think Williams got more of the run than Benjamin.
Yeah, so 8 carries, 59 yards. It's he scored a touchdown. So the receiving touchdown, of course, goes to only Greg Dortch. What do you think of this Dortch guy? He'll be we'll talk about him in a bit.
Yeah.
We got Khalil Herbert. Just take a look at his stats. I don't know why he's the shine has kind of gone off him because of this offense. But David Montgomery, 15 carries, 122 yards. He's still doing it, man.
Yeah, Montgomery looked very good last night. He looked like a man on a mission yesterday. And Herbert played well, but Montgomery, he took over that backfield last night. And even though they're trying to keep the ball away from Rodgers and company, they didn't succeed enough. But Montgomery was very good. I'm surprised Herbert's even an option. But I mean, he's a backup, and if Montgomery does get hurt, Herbert played well enough that he could make some damage out there.
Of course, it was the other side, Aaron Jones, that was the big game.
Oh yeah, wow, he looks great.
Yep. Moving right along. Tyrion Davis Price of the 49ers. So let's just take a look at him for a bit. He's kind of an outsider, kind of like the guy you were kind of a sleeper pick. Well, a late round kind of guy. But now, Tyrion Davis-Price, 14 carries. You kind of got to look at that. Even though Jeff Wilson got 18 carries, 84 yards, you kind of got to look at that usage there.
Right. Well, did you hear the latest news on him? Is that for the high ankle sprain?
Yes. Yes. So that might be, yes, that's right. That's in the news too, isn't it? I came across that.
Yeah, so he's going to be, high ankle sprains are, what to deal with. So who knows what long he's going to be out for. So that changes everything in that 49ers back. And Jordan Mason, who didn't get a touch. He's probably going to be the backup to Jeff Wilson now. And Wilson played very well. But another guy that we shouldn't forget about is Marlon Mack. He got signed, and he's on the practice squad of the 49ers. So he's a little deep pickup there for you. Just something you could stash. Hopefully people forgot about him in your league. You could throw him on your roster, and you never know. I mean, Mitchell will be gone for 8 weeks, so you never know. Take a shot. But Pierce looked okay when he played. He saw goal line opportunities. He had. He's not really a PPR guy, but he did okay.
We talked about Benjamin, number 7 RB on the Fantasy Pros list. They've got Tyler Algier, is it? I don't know how to see alligator. 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 Algier. Okay. So, anyways, he is the clear number 2 to Cordero, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. You kind of have to pick up these running backs if running backs are good running backs are at a premium, and Algier if he because we saw how Cordell Patterson started slowing down as the season got later. He gets tired. He's getting on. So
there's a lot of punishment.
Yeah, he does. He takes a lot of punishment. Some interesting names, some well-known names. Kenneth Gainwell, of course, he's always someone to pick up. I'm playing him tonight, as a matter of fact, in the Scott Fishbowl. Rashad White, we got here. Dennis, Rashad White, what did he get? Well, I don't know why he's on that list. He only got 2 attempts for 1 yard for Tampa Bay. Boy, it was quite a game. Brady was awful.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was letting people hear about it too. He was very vocal on the sideline. Did you see him ranting and raving out there? He was a little pissed off, to say the least. But yeah, I think White is he's a clear handcuff to Fournette. Fournette's he's gets beat up a lot. They give him a lot of carries, a lot of passes, and White is earned 20% targets that yesterday, and he's a capable 3-down back, and he's someone you could stash in your bench, sure. Yeah, open run, waste a roster spot, pick him up, throw him on your roster, and you never know what could happen. I worry about that offensive line in Tampa Bay. They're definitely not playing well, and they got a lot of people injured. They can't keep Brady upright. So that's a problem for the whole offense right now.
I don't know. I still see Fournette breaking into the open quite a bit. Of course, they're feeding him the ball like mad. 24 carries. Yeah. But only 65 yards. That don't look good.
Yeah.
On 24 carries. But, you got to have him if a guy's going to be getting fed the ball that much. But I think they would kind of expect. I think maybe that's why they've got Rashad White as a pickup on the. He's number 9 on the list here.
Yeah. So good handcuff to have.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anybody else on this list that we want to talk about, but we're going to take a break in the action and see what Davis Peng has to say. Here we go with Peng's picks.
Peng's picks with Davis Peng.
Hey everybody, this is Davis Peng, writer for Fantasy Six Pack, and this is my Peng's Picks segment for Week 2. Main takeaways, I want nothing to do with the New York Giants wide receiver core. Daniel Jones has been playing absolutely terrible. The wide receiver core is also terrible. Put the combination together and just get a bunch of roster cloggers, a bunch of zeros. Outside of Sterling Shepard and maybe a deep PPR league, I cannot roster any of these guys. On the flip side of them, their opponents, the Carolina Panthers, Baker Mayfield has been absolutely terrible. DJ Moore has shown minor signs of life. I want to downgrade him to wide receiver 3. In the meanwhile, maybe a flex play. I would continue to roster him. I would continue to use him because we do know he's at least very talented. And as long as he gets targets, he'll be able to make some. But if you need replacement, I would start looking towards the New York Jets wide receivers. I think Garrett Wilson is great. Elijah Moore has a fantasy relevant. Davis back-to-back. He's a boom-bust play, but guess what? That is so much more value than other seconds. So I would start looking at Jets, Anders, and Han Dodds. There's what a DJ Shark line, right? So we say avoid Panthers, avoid Giants. Other takeaways, Brandon Ayuk is now going to be downgraded to fish starting. But guess what? That's not the world. Jimmy G has made Brandon Ayuk the top end of the last year. You know, we were hoping for a wide receiver 1 season out of Brandon Ayuk and Trey Lance. Due to the injury, I feel like with a downgrade and make him now as a wide receiver forward. But that is still fantasy relevant. You know, let's fleece you or convince you to drop, okay? Kyle Pitts, the guy not to go on. Back-to-back bad weeks. Cordell Patterson had a great week last week. One had a great week this. But guess what? All you need to know is that players get great weeks on the team. Kyle Pitts will eventually get his. Some talent is there. Marcus Mariota is not as bad as Daniel Jones, Bacon. So continue to watch Kyle Pitts. Do not get from either. And the last but not least, another takeaway for players I would not pick. Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett had a monstrous game, and Metcalf would have been right behind. They're both great wide receiver, Pro Bowl, all pro level talents. Playing with G. Smith, sure, but they're going to be playing from behind. And at some point, they're going to have to really loosen up Smith's will. Eventually, Metcalf had a 50-yard reception. Add that, his numbers don't look so bad. Players I am panicking. Players that I want to get rid of roster drop. First off, I think you have to trade them. It's basically a Nyheim Hines, but for round 4 draft, round 5. There's no value to him. James Robinson is the guy. ETN is at best a very desperate flex. I don't know. You could find value for a team that someone that thinks they might get value for on it. Follows up with Chase Edmonds, out snapped by Rush. Chase Edmonds was not too great. The Dolphins are not consistent running ball offense. I've never been for the longest time, and I get it, coach staff, all that little stuff, but some teams never do it. The Dolphins are one. Move on from Chase. Try to trade him if possible. Last but not least, Russell Gage. For the love of God, drop Russell. This sucks to have him. He hasn't putting up. I had high hopes for him coming into the season. He's not held up to it. Like I said, guys grab. And that's it for my week 2 Peng's Pick segment.
Wow. I had my pen just flowing there to take notes on what Davis was said. He says he does not like those Giants receivers. Don't blame him. There's really no one you can trust. He's absolutely right. I can't find anything. And he's souring on DJ Moore. He's downgrading him. You know, he did score a touchdown though. But you know what? Yeah. He's kind of like the forgotten man, and I mentioned it on our Slack chat, and I said DJ Moore is kind of the forgotten man in fantasy. A lot of people believe in DJ Moore, but I could never latch on to him, especially on the Panthers, where you kind of have a guy like Christian McCaffrey on there who's kind of the centerpiece. And it's kind of like Derrick Henry on the Titans, where he's a centerpiece, and it kind of just, you couldn't get a lot of good weeks out of AJ Brown, you know, when like last year when Brown was on the team, and it's kind of like with DJ Moore here. Plus also, you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Baker Mayfield, but you know, there are some other problems, and plus he's getting, you know, also the deep threat guy comes in to, pardon?
Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson was the guy I'm trying to think of. What's your thoughts on DJ Moore? Are you souring on him too?
Yeah, I mean, I like the talent, but the circumstances he's involved with in Carolina worries me enough that, you know, the draft capital that he was going at, it's hard for me to take him. Yeah, I worry about, you know, Baker he's an upgrade over Darnold, but he's not that much of an upgrade that he would make me choose more higher than he would have been selected. If that makes sense. So yeah. Plus, you know, Matt Rule is the coach. He's freaking horrible. If he lasts the year, I'd be surprised. He's just an idiot. I don't know what he's doing out there, but you know, they gotta give McCaffrey the ball more, and you know, try to limit Mayfield's involvement in the offense. Let McCaffrey, you know, run into the ground if they have to. They keep, you know what I mean? But that's another story. But I think Moore is talented, but it's hard to. I was hard to take him at the draft capital he was going at.
Yeah, he's on the wrong team. He looks and plays like a WR1, but he's on the wrong team.
Yeah, they're a very talented receiver. That's why, you know, he flashes a lot. You know, like, you know, he scored a touchdown, he flashed, but how consistent is that going to be? I mean, that's the flip a coin on that one.
It's kind of the situation Allen Robinson kind of got into when he went to the Bears.
I agree.
And even now, when he's with the Rams, I'm starting to have my doubts. Though he did score a touchdown, so he wasn't. But he wasn't. He wasn't heavily involved. But
no. But I mean, they started off with throwing the ball a couple of times, and they're going to pepper him with targets, and then they just went away from him. Yeah. And they go. Of course, it's hard to get away from Cooper Kupp. Robinson wasn't really a factor in the second half of the game. It was kind of surprising. But, Peng was. Davis, had a lot of good points in this thing. Chase Edmonds, we already talked about, kind of move over. I mean, he's not doing too much. And, James Robinson coming back from that Achilles injury. I mean, he's looked phenomenal out there. Etienne is looking like he's taking a very big backseat to Robinson right now.
Yeah. Some other people he mentioned that we talked about Chase Edmonds as well. Russell Gage, he wants to drop him. He probably owns him. That's why he's so angry.
Right. The buyer's remorse there, I think.
Yeah, a little buyer's remorse. But he's saying don't panic on Kyle Pitts or DK Metcalf, and I suppose it is like we say, September. Don't panic in September.
Yeah, try not to.
So
I get nervous about Pitts, but I'll keep my faith.
Righty. So
we should hit those receivers.
Yeah, hit those receivers.
First one on the list is obvious pick. Garrett Wilson. Holy crap, did he look? He looked great against the Browns. I mean, he should be the top priority, I think, regardless of position. 14 targets, had 100 yards, scored a game-winning touchdown. The only thing I worry about with him is what happens if and when Zach Wilson comes back. That's the only thing I worry about with Garrett Wilson.
The chemistry is a funny thing.
Yeah. He has it with Flacco, but who knows what's going to happen when Zach Wilson returns. That offense is kind of surprisingly kind of clicking with Flacco. Everything's working, right? Zach Wilson comes back. Yeah, I mean, he's had moments, but he has moments with.
I like it, but he's definitely, you look at Elijah Moore, 5 targets to 14 targets. I mean, that's not doing it. So
yeah.
I mean, even Corey Davis ahead of Elijah Moore. Man, not good.
And the weapons of that offense, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they have, Moore and Wilson, and then the running back combo of Carter and Brees Hall. I mean, they got some weapons there. Even the tight end, even Conklin played well. I mean, Uzama wasn't there, but Conklin played well in his absence. So if they can get the ball rolling and Flacco can keep it upright, or Zach Wilson returns with better play, it's scary of offense. So.
We all know about Dotson of the Commanders, and
him and Wentz have a nice little chemistry going.
Another good game from Wentz too. I think he started off terrible though.
Oh yeah, he looked horrible. I'm like, oh man, he's going back to the old Wentz days, and then all of a sudden he just throwing touchdown after touchdown, and led that team back, and he was. Dotson scored again after scoring twice in week 1, and I mean he led the team in snaps. I mean he's looking like him and Curtis Samuel are looking great out
there. Yep. Jacoby Myers. I'm just going to take a look at his stats here. I hate looking at stats through the game by game, but that's the way you got to do it. Kind of helps if you got your player name straight. Yeah, 95 yards. That's pretty good. Matt Jones had a little better. Well, no, he didn't really. I don't consider a 79. I don't consider a 79 a good rating. But
no, not at all.
I can't argue with what we saw out of Nelson Aguilar. I don't really count it. Well, he had 6 targets and 110 yards and a touchdown, but Jacoby Myers by far was the most targeted, 13 targets, and that's why he's Aguilar is probably on this list, but he's probably way down there. No, he isn't.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not on that list. I mean, he only had that one huge play when he made a great catch, jumping over the defender and scoring a long bomb. But otherwise, he's nowhere to be found in fantasy. I mean, he's gonna get picked up by probably inexperienced players, but they don't fall, please. I mean, I really have Myers than him, and Myers, he's the only PPR heavy, receiver to pick up.
Yep. If
only full PPR, I think you'd take a chance of as maybe a third wideout or something. But so like you said, Matt Jones does not look good. Stats prove it. The offense was kind of out of sync as well. I mean, I don't know what's going on with that offense, but You got Matt Patricia calling players. That's probably why. I don't understand that either. But the pitcher's office does not look good once.
No. Traylon Burks is playing, so we can't really talk about him, but I think he's on the list because of, from what I saw, like at the beginning of the game, it was the opening play of the game. He caught a pass for first down, so trying to get him involved. So they're waiting for some bodies to get back. Russell Gage. Russell Gage, number 5. What? These experts, these fantasy pros, you guys, hey, you fantasy pros, guys, listen up, man. Listen to Davis Peng. He'll tell you. He's...
Yeah.
Well,
I was thinking, I was looking at that. I'm thinking, like, why would it be on? The only thing I could think of why he would be on there is because, Evans gets suspended and Chris Godwin and Julio are hurt. They missed week 2. Who knows if they're coming back this week? And who's going to be the receivers for Brady? Brett Perriman and Gage.
Perriman caught a touchdown.
Yeah. A nice little bomb catch. Yeah.
I put him in as a late sleeper when I was thinking that I wasn't sure of Mark Ingram, so I changed my sleeper in the blurb view quite late, and I says, Perriman as a sleeper because I had it as a feature game. Yeah, because
now, right?
I do now. Yeah, but maybe a lot of people who read it probably thought, "Oh, he put that in afterward just to make himself look good."
Yeah,
but I didn't. I can assure you, people, I did that. I did it prior to the game, prior to the. I didn't do it. Honest. I don't screw around with it. Okay, Joshua Palmer, Robbie Anderson, Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't get that either. But
yeah. Remember we were talking in the preseason about Chiefs wide receivers, who to take out of the receivers. It looks like it's really nobody. No one's really stepped up. Everyone gets a little piece of the pie there, but no one's really taking over that number 1 or even number 2 option behind Kelsey in that offense right now. Everyone's getting a little bit of the piece, and that's it, which is kind of kills your fantasy team. But even Mahomes said that fantasy players are going to hate that. Every week will be somewhat different, and it's so far has held true. That's why
it has held true. I think
it's kind of hard to take someone. If you need someone down the road when we get by, we start hampering your lineup, then maybe take a shot at them in good matchups. But otherwise, it's hard to start them every week when you don't know who's going to do what week. It's hard to do that.
Yeah, and I was afraid of this too, and I noticed this about rookies and on the Chiefs. The coach. He did this with Kelsey too, and he does this a lot with rookies. I'm talking about Andy Reid here. He doesn't like to give the rookies the keys to the house. He doesn't. He likes to wear them in. He did that with Kelsey too. I remember when Kelsey was a rookie, he was reluctant to let Kelsey go, and then the next season he was fine. So I think, and now I'm sort of getting into I'm talking about Pacheco and Sky Moore here because we're not seeing a whole lot. Well, you see, the only time you see Pacheco is in garbage time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So. And I think that's the only time you're going to see Sky Moore. So I don't even see Sky Moore, didn't even catch a thing. So if you got Sky Moore on your roster, you might be waiting till late in the season. Or maybe sooner, but just doesn't seem like, 7 targets. It's better than Juju. Hello, Dennis. Come back. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
The buttons hit the wrong button.
Oh, you hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We were talking about Sky Moore and Pacheco and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Okay, yeah, he got 7 targets, but where's Juju?
Yeah, now my pick is Juju. This one.
I told you it'd be a bust. I told you.
Yes, you did. Give you credit.
It's early though. I'm not.
Yeah,
I honestly, I'm not going to. I'm not going to say I told you so yet. Just yet.
Yeah, just yet.
But
soon,
he's trending in the right direction. He's definitely on. He's definitely on bust alert right now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, who knows with that? Every week will be a different guy, and you want to take that. Just playing roulette wheel on that one. See who's a 6 seed every week. It's kind of hard to play that way in fantasy, but try not to.
Yeah, and I don't know how Woods is doing. He's on bust alert as well. He only got 2 targets last week. I don't know how he's doing today. we'll find out. Because Woods was another guy on my bust list.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I wouldn't trust Tannehill, so I wouldn't be surprised if Woods is not going to succeed over there.
It's probably even yeah, that's the way it is. Okay. We could go through the rest of this list. We will post this, but we've got to talk about a few guys. Can you believe Noah Brown's this far down? They got him.
I'm surprised by that.
I mean, know something that I don't. I mean, this is updated. These are waiver rankings that are like there's about a dozen guys that are ranking here, and this is our pros. And wow, I mean, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have faith in him yet. I mean, he has the chemistry with Rush. He has 10 catches for 159 yards to score through 2 weeks. And no Gallup, Michael Gallup's still not playing. And now you got Shultz that's injured. I mean, it's Noah Brown and CeeDee Lamb are going to be the go-to guys out there, so he's going to get the ball. I'm not sure why they're not including him more involved in the waiver wire and someone that I would looking to pick up in some of my leagues as a nice stash option, and maybe somebody you could play right away depending on matchups and stuff. But you'll see. It
could be targets. I mean, but he caught all his targets. He was targeted 5 times and caught it 5 times, 91 yards touchdown. And one of them was a 28-yarder. But CeeDee Lamb, of course, he's the man, right? 11 targets.
Yeah.
But you're right, Gallup. They might have him a little bit shifted down because Gallup is pending return. So.
Yeah, I'm worried about every week. He's getting better, but still have yet to see him. So hopefully, I mean, he's a good ball player. I hope to see him soon.
I see they have Rondale Moore on the list, number 13. You know what? I kind of like this Dortch guy.
Yeah, he's actually been producing over there. Obviously, he's doing well, and I think if he's available. While Moore is out, I mean, he's delivering so far. I think you have to take a shot at him in deep leagues. So, maybe your flex option, maybe in a deep league, in PPR leagues, worth a shot.
So I don't know how far behind the curve these guys think they're looking, but they got Romeo Dobbs there at WR19. Rogers is still kind of upset with Christian Watson and Dobbs. I don't think he doesn't like his young guys. I think his young guys are letting him down. And I mean, they won. They beat the Bears, so it might make Rogers a little more happy. He's turned into a real grump.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he doesn't like all the. I mean, he likes drama, but doesn't like it when guys don't produce for him. He gets a little, he starts pouting, and then they don't get the ball, and then causes commotion on the offense. So it makes it harder. But one player that's on this list that I can't believe is on here. It doesn't make sense to me among other players, but this one really sticks out. Kadarius Toney. Why is he on this list?
Oh yeah, the Giants. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, I can see
Davis.
Shepard maybe,
Yeah.
but. Maybe Shepard. I mean, he does produce. I mean, he's someone that maybe is a good fill-in option. As a in deeper leagues when you start 3 flexes or something like that. I could see maybe him, but Kadarius Toney, what has he done? I mean, he hasn't
nothing.
done crap.
I don't know why he's on that list. You're right. What other Giants? Oh, Richie James was kind of an interesting guy. I didn't mind him. Yeah, he's produced more than Kadarius Toney. They haven't got Richie James on there.
He's the last guy.
Oh, he's the last guy. Okay,
22.
There he is. Yeah,
22. Yeah, 22.
Right.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
Yeah. And Dobbs, you know what? Take a listen to this. Like this is the target share. This shows you what Rodgers thinks of these guys. It's not too. Here's the target share here for Dobbs 3 targets, Watson 3 targets, 9 yards out of it, and at least Watson caught all his targets. But he's starting to find. I guess the guy he's finding most is Sammy Watkins through the air. So.
Right. But what they're doing, though, is on, for Watson, they're throwing, I mean, if you want to call it a throw or a so-called pass, but they're doing like little shuffle passes to him across the line of scrimmage. That's what they're counting passes. He hasn't done anything past that thing line of scrimmage, so he's not really doing anything. Plus, you see the one where they fumble the ball, and it actually hit Watson in the hip, and a bad snap. Rodgers just gave him this dirty glare, and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Next time we're going to see Watson the rest of the game, because that was the end of him for a while. So I mean, he is not.
He's playing with a bunch of kids. I mean,
yeah, he is.
Even Lazard, even though Lazard scored 3 targets, I mean, 2 receptions for 13 yards and a touchdown. I mean, basically that yardage came from the touchdown, most of it.
Right. I mean, you got to think the way they're running the ball and Aaron Jones, just running through that run through that defense like they were even there. I mean, they're opening holes for him. He was just playing out of his mind yesterday. I mean, Dylan played good too, but Jones was just, he couldn't be stopped. He was playing so good that
Dylan actually outcarried him 18-15.
Yeah. Right. He looked awesome. I mean, I've always been a Dylan fan, but if Jones has his games like that you like, why don't they give him the ball more? And then next game, they'll give Dylan the ball. And then, they just keep flip-flopping.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. You don't know. It's a mix and match thing.
Right.
Let's go to the tight ends. We're getting close to the end of the show. Top tight end for the Washington Commanders. See, I didn't fall for that trap.
Gotta get it right.
Yeah, I know. Because
gotta be PC now.
You know what? It was easier to say the Washington football team.
Agreed.
It was easier not to screw up by saying that. But when you got to say Washington, you got to catch yourself.
Yeah.
Because when I don't. You know what? If somebody screws up on that, I don't care. Good old Logan Thomas.
I'm not too. I mean, he's a streaming option. I mean, they already have plenty of weapons there. We already talked about, so adding him is another option. I mean, it's not bad as a second streamer, but otherwise, I'm not taking a chance.
If you lost Dalton Shultz, would you take Logan Thomas?
Yeah, I can see doing that. Yeah.
Is there anybody better on here? Wouldn't you much rather have Mike Gesicki the way Tua's playing?
No, I don't. I do not want Mike.
No.
I think that was totally based upon game script for Miami. Because, going into the season, I consider Gesicki a bust because he can't block, number one. I mean, I know he's a pet. We're talking about fantasy, but, in that new offense, they want their tight ends to block, and he can't block. So the only time he's on the field is when they're in passing situations. And, of course, being down 28-7 at halftime causes a lot more passing, obviously. So he was on the field, and between Hill and Waddle, getting more of the targets, he's like at least third fiddle on that offense, and he's not going to get the ball as much as he did. And I mean, he went 4 for 41 in the TD, but he's not going to get the ball much there. So I'd shy away from picking up second.
Yeah. Well, he's probably a better flex than I can tell you. Who's a real bust, and it's a guy you wouldn't expect, and a guy you kind of hoped, and he probably got drafted by a few people as a middle to late draft. DJ Chark. He's on Detroit. Chark had 4 targets and didn't get a yard.
I know, that crazy. How's that happen?
Well, it's because Amon-Ra St. Brown's so good, right?
I know. I'm just somewhat sarcastic.
And Reynolds, I liked Reynolds as one of the Reynolds. There's 2 of them. There's 2 of them on there. Josh and Craig. Reynolds? Josh and Craig. But
yeah. Yeah, we know Josh had. He played with Goff and with the Rams, so he has a little bit of rapport with them. So he would. Yeah, he's so natural. But Chark, he was looked upon as a sleeper going into the season, and he hasn't done much obviously yet. So we'll see what he can do the rest of the season. But I'm not saying Brown's taking over the helm over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other tight ends we need to talk about, Dennis? I don't know. Is there? You pick one. This list really, really sucks.
Yeah,
I could think of better. Why don't you do the rankings of the week? They only give you a few. I think the problem is they only give you a few. I've done the waiver rankings before, and they only give you a set. They don't allow you to go off the list.
No, that's not good.
I don't think they do. I'm not sure on that. Don't hold me to it, but.
No, let's take a look at that and see. I think we have, because we're rankers, I think we have the opportunity to do waiver wire ranks. We'll have to check it out next week.
Yeah, we can.
You know what I mean? Just to take a shot, see where we can go with it.
Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should, and just to straighten up these. I mean, like these guys, man. It's like, okay, the waiver wire rankings. Who we got here? This is kind of important. Who's doing them? And these are guys that updated. These guys have updated these like just the 19th, just yesterday. Andrew Erickson, one of the in-house guys. Kev Wheeler, the 33rd. Derek Browning's another in-house. Pat Fitzmaurice, well-known in-house guy there. Matthew Friedman, another in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Yates, you know him.
Yep, former Fantasy Pros guy.
Yeah, former Fantasy Pros, and he also, I'm not sure if he was on, no, I'm thinking of a different guy. I'm thinking of a different Yates. All right, Bart Wheeler, Hail to Fantasy Football, Jeff Bogus. It's mostly Fantasy Pros guys that are ranking these, and man, their rankings, they leave a lot to be desired. Of course, they've been updated since I downloaded them, so it might be a little different. Let me just check. They still got Ryan Mostert to the top. Oh, they've added they added your guy Marlon Mack.
There you go. See. They put Flacco in there too?
I will see. Flacco not on the list.
Oh, see how they are?
Yeah.
They're doing it right.
Not doing it right, and
They do.
yeah,
Especially
everything
now
basically looks the same, more or less. Logan Thomas, yeah. The list is exactly the same, except for the running backs. They did add Marlon Mack as number 15. Ranked 15th, which is not, I mean, it's fine. But I guess when you're ranked, but Benjamin, come on. Got to pick up Mostert, not Eno Ben.
These tight ends are kind of hard to fathom picking up. But I mean, if you're streaming, just look for matchups each week, and that's why a lot of my leagues I try to bite the bullet and pick a top tight end, so I have to deal with the crap during the year. And this is you're looking at these options, Hayden Hurst, Gesicki, even Ingram. He's actually looked pretty decent. I hate to say because I've always been an Ingram hater, but he's actually produced with Lawrence there in Jacksonville. And Tanya hasn't done anything. Tyler Conklin needs it well. Yesterday, that's without Uzama playing, so maybe Uzama's not in there. You take a chance at Conklin again. But, they're playing from behind, so they had to pass the ball a lot more. So that's probably why you got more targets than you probably would ever get rest of the year. Irv Smith, he's a decent option, but they got a lot of weapons there in Minnesota. Isaiah Likely, you're not going to, unless something unfortunately happens to Andrews, Likely is not going to do much there to Baltimore. So your options are very limited at tight end. So I stream. That's all you could do.
Yeah, stream. Just going to take a look and see how the scores are coming down. I don't care if I know the score. Oh, maybe I do. Do I? I don't know. I like to kind of not know the score of the games. Maybe I should know. Because it's getting late. I got to get set up for school. So, anyways, we are at the end of the Fantasy Edge for week 3. Not week 2. We are week 3 of Fantasy Edge. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. I'm Richard Savill for Dennis Sosic and Davis Peng. See you next week.